Welcome to a new episode of our program, Trip 2.
Once we arrived to Nashville, we went to the housing, belonged to the work, and we built altar. And Bishop Yusuf, he sent all the priests from the diocese, for the whole diocese, to spend a week in Nashville to accommodate all the newcomers, to welcome them to Nashville. I was blessed to move to Nashville in 1984, and I was one of the first moved to Nashville from the Coptic Orthodox Church. When we came here, was almost 5 families in the Nashville area, and was no church until we find St. Augustine Church a few months later. And during that time, we used to travel 3.5 hours going to Atlanta to pray with Abuna Elia in Abuna Loa. And the time changed when Sayyidina Al-Anba Yusuf came to Nashville and take over the diocese, the Southern Diocese, as a bishop.
Welcome to St. Mina Coptic Orthodox Church of Tennessee, the first church established in the Nashville area. The church was established in 1987, and back then were about 5 families only, and now we have almost over 4,000 families. The church was established after the name of St. Mina, the miracle maker, and was served by Father Akhladius Khalil. He served the church, the first priest served the church once every 2 weeks back then. And then in 1993, His Grace Bishop Yusuf was appointed as a bishop for the Southern Diocese of the Southern United States. And since that time, he took on his shoulders to bring priests here to serve this area. And starting in 1996, the community grew because so many people came to look for work. The numbers increased drastically.
When I came here to the United States, I started in Ohio, and then I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I came here exactly on 28th of September 1986. When I came, I found 4 families. I was number 5 in these families. As a 5 family here, we found ourselves we have to go to Greek Orthodox Church. I talked with my colleagues here, and I told them we have to have a Coptic church. We are small community, Coptic community, but we need to start on that. We contacted one of the priests. He was at St. Louis, and his name is Father Akhladius Khalil. and he promised us to come to visit us here the third week of every month. We started our service on September 17, and in the second service, 21st of February, it was the third week, he came and we found that some connection contacted him. This was the work of God. We have our service in Nashville here, in one of the chapels at Vanderbilt University. It was named by Saint Augustine. We started the service. At the end of the service, Father Claudius asked us to prepare a committee for the church. He asked the people. We have people, group came from Knoxville, Tennessee, group came from Memphis and Alabama, and we have group came from Chattanooga. We found that the 5 people, the first service became about 18 per family in 21st of February. It was a great opportunity to start our service, our church. We continue the service here, and we register the church in state of Tennessee as the first Coptic Orthodox church in Tennessee.
In 1996, His Grace Bishop Yusuf rotated the priests of the diocese, were about 10 priests at that time, to come to Nashville every Monday, from Monday to Friday, on their own church's expenses. And they did liturgies, meetings with the people, visitations and stuff. And the numbers increased quickly. And in February of 1997, I was ordained as the first priest to this church, St. Mina, Coptic Orthodox Church. And at that time, we did not have a church building. We were looking for a location, and then we bought, in April of 1997, we bought the first location of St. Mina Coptic Church. And it was a small church, seated about 215 people back then. And from the very beginning, the church became very tight for our needs.
When the church is registered, it was under the name of St. Mina Coptic Orthodox Church. And we name it because it was one of the icons. We have it in the first service and second service. We have 2 icons. One under the name for St. Mina, and the other one for Amba Sarbamon, which is called Abu Tarha, which is a veil. So this was the option for us to name the church under these 2 names.
Basically, it was a temporary location, and in year 1999, we found this facility here for sale. This was an abandoned sanctuary, and we bought it, and it was a miracle that we were able to purchase this property for a good, reasonable price. And we started to renovate the building. This was facing west, and we had to renovate the building to make it look like a Coptic church. We had to do a entrance from the west side, and of course turned the main entrance into an altar area. It took us almost 1 year to get it up to this level. We, matter of fact, brought an iconographer from Egypt to do the icons, Mr. George Edward, and he did a wonderful job. Also, we contracted with a company to do the iconostasis and all the woodwork from Egypt too. We brought the chandeliers from Egypt and also the rugs and stuff like that. Church was completed in August of 2000, and we were honored and blessed that His Holiness Pope Shenouda III came to this facility here, to this church, and consecrated the altar and the icons and iconostasis, along with His Grace Bishop Ruwais and, of course, His Grace Bishop Yusuf. It was a historical day for our church, and matter of fact, this coming the 27th of August, this next week, we are celebrating the 15th anniversary of the consecration of the altar and icons and the baptistry of this church by the hand of His Holiness Pope Shenouda III. In the year 2000, the number of families became around 400 families, and the need for another priest was very important. So His Holiness, when he came to consecrate the altar of the church, he ordained also a priest who was named Father Mina. He served with me in this church to 2003, and then established a new location, Saint Bishoy Coptic Orthodox Church in Antioch. Now he departed in year 2010 after 10 years of service. The numbers of the families keep increasing day after day, and also when the Pope came here, he found so many children, and then he suggested to His Grace Bishop Yusuf to establish a Coptic school to serve the children, or for the future of the children of the church, which we took on our shoulders to establish the school. And in the year 2001, we established St. Clement Christian Academy. And since that time, with the blessing of His Holiness Pope Shenouda and the prayer of His Grace Bishop Yusuf, the school is now prosperous, and it was the first school in the United States, and also the only school in the Diocese of the Southern United States. The story of these relics, each saint has a story. Saint Abanub, for example, we got the relics from Samanud by the hand of His Grace Bishop Mityas, the Bishop of Al-Mahalla. And Saint Abu Sufyan, we received the relics of Saint Abu Sufyan from His Grace Bishop Athanasius, Bishop of Bani Mazar, and also the relics of Saint Peter, the Seal of Martyr. The relics of the martyrs of Akhmim I brought some relics with me from Egypt when I was visiting there, and recently I received part of the relics of a little child who was persecuted and received the crown of martyrdom in Akhmim. The St. George and St. Mina on the other side, I was in the monastery of St. Antonius in Red Sea area in Egypt, and I was sitting there, and a priest came in and approached me, and I started speaking with him, and I told him I'm longing to have relics for the saint, patron saint of our church. And he asked me what your church name. I said St. Mina, and he said I can give you some relics. I have relics in my church, and you come and visit me in El Khusus and El Giza, Providence, and I will give you some relics. So the first thing I did when I went to El Giza, I visited him in his church, and then he gave me just a little bit of the relics of St. George and St. Mina, and the 140 the children of Bethlehem. And I brought them with me, and in a big celebration, His Grace Bishop Yusuf. February of 1999, we were looking for a bigger location for St. Mina Church, and we found this church, and we started negotiating the price, but we were not able to reach an agreement. In June of 1999, when I was in Egypt for a visit, I visited St. George Nunnery in Old Cairo, and I asked the mother to pray for us to be able to reach an agreement. And she told me just vow something for St. George. So I told her if I purchase this location, I will have an altar after the name of St. George, of course after the permission of His Grace Bishop Yusuf. And then when I came back to Nashville, we were able to reach an agreement from the very first visit. And the first thing that I did is build this chapel after the name of St. George. When we bought this facility, the church property were less than 2 acres of land, and we had some problems with parking. Spaces were very little, and we had to purchase. There was a house on this location here. We bought it and added extra parking, and also we had to add some more buildings for the use of the church. For example, this is now the new location for the St. Clement Academy. We added 3 buildings down there for Sunday school classes.